In today's video, we are going to uncover the truth behind UK tinned tomatoes and the brands you must stop buying and why every person in the UK needs to pay attention. Every week, millions of people across the United Kingdom drop a tin of chopped tomatoes into their trolley without a second thought. It seems harmless, it is routine, but what if I told you that right now, in March 2026, the tin you bought last week may still be connected to a human rights scandal that shook the British Parliament? What if the word Italian on the label means almost nothing? And what if the lining inside that tin, a chemical the European Union has already banned, is still perfectly legal to use in the UK because the government has not finished its consultation process? Today we are naming brands. We are giving you the latest updates and we are telling you what to do. In December 2024, BBC Panorama broadcast one of the most talked about food investigations in years, a program called What's on Your Supermarket Shelves? The Dark Side of the Tomato Trade. It exposed forced labor, misleading labeling, and a supply chain that connected your kitchen to a region the United Nations has described as a site of torture and genocide. That was 15 months ago. Since then, the story has moved a lot. Chinese tomato exports to Italy collapsed by 76% in the first 9 months of 2025. The UK Food Standards Agency launched a consultation on banning BPA from food packaging, and supermarkets are still, as of today, refusing to publicly confirm whether they have cut ties with the Italian supplier at the centre of it all. Here is where we stand in 2026. Let us start with what the BBC found. In December 2024, the BBC World Service commissioned laboratory testing of 64 different tomato purees sold in the UK, Germany, and the United States. The testing was conducted by Source Certain, an internationally recognised origin verification firm based in Australia. The results: 17 products appeared to contain Chinese tomatoes despite being labelled as Italian. Most Chinese tomatoes come from the Xinjiang region. Xinjiang is where the Chinese government has imprisoned over 1 million Uyghur Muslims. The United Nations has documented forced labor, torture, and what leading human rights organizations have called crimes against humanity. The United States banned all Xinjiang exports in 2022. The UK and EU have not. BBC journalists spoke to 14 people who said they personally endured or witnessed forced labor in Xinjiang's tomato fields. One survivor described being beaten for failing to meet a daily quota of 450 kilograms of tomatoes. Another said workers were threatened with electric prods if they did not comply. These are not abstract allegations. They are testified accounts and they are directly connected to the tinned tomato aisle in your local supermarket. Let us go through the 9 brands you should be aware of. Brand number 1, Tesco Italian Tomato Puree. In 2021, Tesco wrote formally to the UK Parliament confirming it would not accept any ingredients from Xinjiang. It stated that non-compliance would lead to suppliers being delisted. 3 years later, according to the BBC's lab testing, their own label Italian tomato puree appeared to contain Chinese tomatoes. Tesco responded by suspending supply from the relevant manufacturer. However, as of the time of this recording, Tesco has not publicly confirmed it has permanently cut ties with the Petty Group, the Italian company identified as the supplier. Brand number 2, Asda Double Concentrate Tomato Paste. Asda's own labelled tomato paste prominently states it contains pureed Italian-grown tomatoes. BBC testing suggested otherwise. Lab results indicated the presence of Chinese tomatoes. Asda disputed the findings, stating their internal testing using stable isotope ratio analysis found no evidence of Chinese tomatoes. As of late 2024, the product remained available on shelves. Brand number 3, Waitrose Essential Tomato Puree. Waitrose was among the 4 major UK supermarkets named in the Panorama investigation. Following the broadcast, Waitrose stated it had sent food auditors to the Italian manufacturing site and conducted isotope testing at an independent laboratory. They said neither test showed evidence of Chinese tomatoes. Their own label tomato puree was temporarily unavailable, with the retailer citing a packaging change from tube to tin as the reason. Brand number 4, Morrison's own label tomato puree Morrison's, was similarly named. Their product was pulled from the online shop but remained available in certain stores. Like the other retailers, Morrison's disputed the BBC's methodology. None of the 4 supermarkets have commented publicly on whether they intend to permanently end their relationship with the Petty Group. Brand number 5, Lidl Barisser, Germany-linked concern. While Lidl's UK market Barisser products were not directly named in the BBC investigation, the programme found that Lidl's German market Barisser tomato products appeared to contain tomatoes sourced from Kofko-Tune, a Chinese company sanctioned by the United States for forced labour. Since December 2020, Lidl acknowledged the possible presence of Chinese tomatoes in their German products and said they were investigating. Given that Lidl sources many products from the same Central European supply chains for both the UK and German markets, this is a brand worth watching carefully. Brand number 6, Petty Group own label products, including Petty branded tins. The Petty Group, specifically the Italian company Antonio Petty, is at the heart of this entire story. BBC analysis of shipping data found that between 2020 and 2023, Petty received over 36 million kilograms of tomato paste from Xinjiang-linked companies. 10 of the 17 flagged products in the BBC test were made by Petty. Petty stated it had not knowingly purchased from companies engaged in forced labour, but the BBC's investigation found that Beaujolais Red Fruit, one of Petty's declared suppliers, shares a telephone number with Xinjiang Guangdong, a company that was US sanctioned for forced labour in 2020. Shipping data analysis also suggested Beaujolais Red Fruit may be a shell company for Guangdong. During an undercover encounter, a Petty director reportedly confirmed the company did use Chinese tomatoes in its products, and BBC investigators found video evidence of a 2023 Chinese tomato order still held in one of its factories. Petty has since announced it will no longer import tomatoes from China, but the company continues to supply UK supermarkets, and until those retailers publicly confirm new sourcing arrangements, any product made by Petty remains a concern. If you see any tinned tomato product in the UK that does not clearly state which region of Italy the tomatoes were grown in, it is worth questioning whether Petty is in the supply chain. Brand number 7, generic supermarket own label products without clear origin. This brings us to a broader warning. Following the Panorama investigation, the grocer reported that supermarket own label tomato products saw a significant drop in consumer confidence. Branded products, particularly Mutti and Curio, were asked to ramp up supply to fill the gaps. But many supermarkets have simply continued selling reformulated own label products with new packaging and no public update on sourcing. The rule is simple. If the label says packed in Italy without specifying where the tomatoes were grown, that is a legal loophole. Italy can import tomato paste from anywhere, blend it, and label the finished product as Italian. If your tin does not say grown in Italy or product of Italy, those are very different things. Brand number 8, products with BPA line tins, standard non-budget range. Now we turn to a separate but equally important issue, the chemical lining inside the tin itself. BPA, or bisphenol A, is a synthetic chemical used to coat the inside of metal tins to prevent corrosion. Tomatoes are highly acidic. The acidity causes BPA to leach from the lining directly into the food at a faster rate than almost any other canned product. BPA has been linked in scientific research to hormonal disruption, reproductive issues, and developmental problems, particularly in children and fetuses. Here is the critical update for 2026. The European Union formally banned BPA in food contact materials from January 20th, 2025. The ban includes the metal coatings used inside food tins. Single-use tins used for fruits and vegetables have a compliance deadline of January 20th, 2028, but the direction of travel is clear. The United Kingdom still catching up. In October 2025, the UK Food Standards Agency launched a consultation on a proposed BPA ban, open until December 2025. The FSA's preferred option is to align with EU law, with a potential entry into force in mid to late 2026. But as of today, March 2026, BPA in UK tin linings remains legal. This means that unless a brand has explicitly stated it uses BPA-free linings, you should assume the standard tin contains BPA. February 2025 testing confirmed that the following UK products use tins without plastic linings: Aldi Everyday Essentials, Morrison's Savers, KTC, Sainsbury's Stamford Street Co., and Tesco Growers Harvest. Those are the safe budget options. But Napolina, Tirio, and most standard mid-range and premium products? No confirmed BPA-free status. Brand number 9, Del Monte chopped tomatoes. We include this one based on consistent consumer feedback and taste test data. A February 2025 testing round of UK supermarket tomato products specifically flagged Del Monte as among the worst performing for flavour, texture, and value. One review noted the tomatoes were noticeably flavourless and acidic even after cooking. The brand has not confirmed BPA-free tin linings. Poor quality and unverified packaging chemicals, not a combination you need on your shelf. Here is the wider picture that puts all of this into context. Following the BBC investigation, Chinese processed tomato exports to Italy dropped from over $75 million to under $13 million in the first 9 months of 2025 alone, a collapse of 76%. Across the EU, imports from China fell by more than 2/3. This is significant. It means the pressure from the investigation has had a real, measurable impact on the global tomato supply chain. But a new risk has emerged. Industry experts are now warning that as Chinese tomato paste becomes harder to trace, unscrupulous processors may route it through third countries, making it even harder to detect in supply chains. The same food fraud risks that caused the original scandal may now reappear in a different form. Meanwhile, across the UK, branded tomatoes, particularly Mutti, have surged in sales. Consumers are voting with their trolleys. Own-label products are losing market share to brands with stronger provenance stories. The message to supermarkets is clear. The question is whether they are listening. Let us be constructive. The first choice, Mutti, Italian grown, strong traceability, transparent sourcing. Since the BBC investigation, Mutti has been specifically named by retailers as a trusted alternative. Their tomatoes are grown and processed in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. No confirmed Chinese supply chain issues. Second choice, glass jar passata. No BPA risk, no tin lining, no sourcing concerns if bought from a verified Italian producer. Mutti also makes passata in glass jars, the ideal option. Third choice, budget tins confirmed as plastic lining free. Aldi Everyday Essentials, Morrison's Savers, KTC, Sainsbury's Stamford Street Co., and Tesco Growers Harvest. These avoid the BPA issue and are reasonably priced. Fourth, look for the DOP label. This means the product has been officially certified under EU protected designation of origin law. It cannot legally use that label unless the tomatoes genuinely come from a specific designated Italian region. This is your strongest protection against misleading origin claims. What to avoid? Any product labeled packed in Italy without a grown in Italy claim, any product from an unverified supplier with no clear origin statement, any product you cannot trace to a specific region. In 2026, the tin tomato scandal is not over. The supply chain has shifted. The EU has moved. The UK is still consulting. And the supermarkets, 4 of the biggest in Britain, have still not publicly confirmed they have cut ties with the company at the centre of it all. You deserve to know what is in your food and where it came from. Share this video with someone who cooks because most people still do not know this story. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. We cover stories like this every week. Bye for now. See you in the next one.